Dead broke, dead serious. You've got a will you haven't written, a policy you haven't bought, a conversation with your family you keep pushing to next year. Not because you don't care about them, because somewhere in you, planning for your own death feels like admitting you're not invincible. And nobody taught you how to sit with that feeling without running from it. This is Behavior 360. I am Dr. Philip Montgomery. Today, we're talking about the thing most men will do anything to avoid, and I mean anything, before they'll sit down and actually protect the people they love. Welcome back to Behavior 360, where we don't do surface level. I'm a licensed clinician. I've spent almost a decade doing complex case management, sitting with people at their most fragile moments, hospitals, discharges, grief counseling. I also happen to hold a license to guide people through insurance and real estate decisions. Today, those two worlds collide. This episode kicks off a new series, The Wealth They Never Taught You. Because for a lot of us, money wasn't just unspoken in our house, it was dangerous to bring up. And when something's dangerous to talk about, we don't get better at it, we avoid it. We build a whole identity around not needing to think about it. Today, episode one, life insurance and the emotional avoidance underneath why so many men don't have it. Here's what I see, both in therapy and in casual conversation with men in my life. The resistance to buying life insurance is rarely about math. It's rarely even about real money. It's about what buying the policy means. It means picturing a version of the world where you're not in it. It means admitting your family's stability currently depends on your body staying alive and your paycheck staying steady. And that's a fragile place to build a life from. So instead of sitting with that discomfort, men do one of three things. They minimize. I'm healthy, I've got time, they delegate. My job's policy will cover it. Usually it won't, not close even. Or they just don't decide. Non decision feels safer than decision because non decision doesn't force the feeling to the surface. That's avoidance. And avoidance always feels like relief in the short term and costs you in the long term. That's true whether we're talking about a hard conversation with your partner, a phone call to a broker. Let's use acceptance and commitment therapy to actually work this, not just talk about it. Diffusion. The thought I don't want to think about dying is just a thought, not an instruction. You can notice it without obeying it. Acceptance. You don't have to feel calm about mortality to take action on it. Discomfort and action can coexist in the same 10 minutes. Values contact. Ask yourself what protecting your family is actually in service of. Not fear of death, love that's still alive right now. Committed action. One phone call, one quote. That's the whole committed action for this week. Not a full-fledged financial plan. I want to step out of the therapist chair for a second and into the other chair I sit in. I'm also a licensed insurance producer here in Illinois, so let me demystify a few things plainly, no jargon. Term life is not the same as whole life, and most men in their 20s and 30s need term. It's cheaper and it matches the years your kids actually need protection. A policy through your employer usually isn't portable. You lose it the day you leave the job, which is exactly the day your family might need it most. And the number of people are afraid to ask about the actual monthly cost is almost always smaller than what they're already spending on something they want to call on when they need it in an emergency. This isn't a pitch, it's permission to stop treating the topic like it's more complicated or more expensive than it actually is. Before the next episode, I want you to do one thing. Not research everything, not solve it all today, just this. Say the sentence out loud to yourself. If something happened to me next month, here's what would actually happen to my family financially. Let yourself feel whatever comes up for 10 seconds. Then write down one name, one person, one broker, one friend who has a policy that you could call this week just to ask a question. Not buy anything, just ask. That's episode 1 of The Wealth They Never Taught You. If this hits something in you, sit with it before you scroll past it. Head to Balance 360, listen to this podcast again, remind yourself of the importance of those you love. Until the next time.